Welcome to Late to the Party, your one-stop shop for Bright Futures recaps. You want to watch the Bright Futures campaign, but you don't want to watch like 100 hours of content to catch up? Well then, I'm your guy. I'm here to give you a detailed light recap of episodes 16 through 20 of Bright Futures. So, strap on in. In episode 16, things get a little weird, and by things, I mean turn. The cursed pair of cat ears that he acquired under the Hagen estate has started to take in a significant toll on his intelligence, and his friends learn that if he doesn't get those ears off soon, he's likely to transform into a cat. He's also strangely preoccupied with the backpack that he lost during the Grimmel chase, as if he doesn't have enough to worry about. Speaking of worries, Brahm and Elithar are just fine if you were curious. Oh, of course, except for the fact that everyone in the Primal Grove wants Brahm dead. The students learn that many years ago, Brahm broke his oath as a guardian of the Feywild Gate in the center of the town and allowed some hostile entities to pass through it. This, of course, was an exilable offense, and now that he's back in the Grove, the residents are not happy. Our heroes aren't so quick to believe what the residents tell them, however. They spend the day digging a little deeper into Brahm's exile and finally piece together the truth. Brahm left his post that night as a favor to Aether, Elitha's brother, who wanted Brahm to help his date night go off without a hitch. Unfortunately, there were many hitches, not the least of which being Aether's date getting possessed by a hostile entity from the Feywild Gate, and Brahm and Aether having to fight the entity out of her. Brahm didn't want Aether to take the fall for the breach, so he created a narrative that he had abandoned the gate on purpose and accepted his exile. Now, his past is coming back to haunt him. He swears the students to secrecy before they leave the Grove, leaving he and Elitha behind to sort out the terms of his broken exile. The students have more important places to go, of course. Back to the Crystal Caves, namely, where, according to the Grove's priest, a piece of Shandi's soul still resides. An unorthodox rescue mission is the focus of episode 17. Our heroes must venture back into the Crystal Caves to reclaim the other half of Shandi's soul, and without losing any of their own along the way. They navigate the cavern's crumbling floors with the help of a lot of rope, and discover a couple of interesting things within. The first, a glowing stone in the shape of a crescent moon, guarded by a host of creatures who are dead ringers for Septon's shadowy alter ego. The second is a large glowing orb, through which Shandi can sense the other part of his soul. Trisha the Traveler, a nomadic goblin sporting a crystallized arm, overhears their plan to enter the orb and warns them not to risk it, but Shandi needs his soul back more than he needs to be careful, so he steps inside and the others follow. Episode 18 welcomes you to Trinity 2, a scenic kobold town in a crystalline pocket dimension. We invite you to explore our rustic city streets made by kobolds for kobolds. Take a stroll through the riverside's bustling fish market. Out of respect, we ask that you do not acknowledge the parish, the skeletal figure with a conical head floating perpetually in our city center. By its power, we exist. The students learn all of this and more, though without the convenience of a travel brochure, upon entering the orb in the Crystal Caves. They follow what Shandi thinks is his soul's signal out of town and through a large field, momentarily finding themselves in a wizard's tower disguised as a tree that seems to serve as the power source for this entire dimension. Upon touching the power source, however, Shandi realizes that his soul isn't here at all, and the signal leads the group back into Trinity 2. As the students return, they are met face to face with the Cryptal who has been causing their nightmares. Before they can confront him, however, something exits his body and possesses the body of the parish. Having regained his senses, the Cryptal helps the group fend off the now hyper-aggressive forces of the parish, and they successfully do so, freeing Shandi's soul in the process. Doesn't return to him like expected, however, and instead becomes a ghostly echo that he can summon at will. Before our heroes can bask in the satisfaction of another fight won, the malevolent force resumes control of the Cryptal and turns him against them. The students manage to fell him, but not before his unnatural self-destructive aggression kills Septon and Tether. Luckily, a powerful dragon-born cleric arrives moments later to revive them, having been sent by his father to address the Crystal Scourge. The possession leaves the Cryptal at the moment of his death, and he begs to be buried at his people's home. During the commotion, the parish's body is destroyed, and a ghostly dog appears when it falls and psychically tells Una to leave. The group has Shandi's soul back at last, and no desire to stick around, so they obey the dog's directive and get out of there. Finally, some familiar scenery in episode 19. Our heroes travel back to the Hagen estate and resume their normal educational schedules. Brom and Elithar remain tied up in the legal system of the Primal Grove, so for a while the students are responsible for their own education. Terrifying for some, a treat for others. The administration is quick to bring in a couple of surrogate teachers. Relme du Vilcairn of the Extant Sortilegium takes over academics, albeit rather reluctantly given her disapproval of the program as a whole. An agile mask, a reticent tabaxi and childhood friend of Captain Sheena, teaches tactics. Shandi might have regained his soul, but as a consequence for coming back to life, he chose to lose his affiliation to his patron and adoptive father, Lord Resk. He sends Resk a severance letter of sorts, ensuring that their next family reunion, if there will be one, is going to be supremely awkward. The calendar is quick to distract him and the other students, however, because it's almost time for the Festival of Maydew, an annual event held in the Zymorian capital of Sarduk in honor of the legendary group of heroes, the Silver Citadel. The Bright Futures Initiative is expected to attend, so the heroes of tomorrow can be introduced to the Empire. The students receive an escort to Sarduk in the form of Averth Raelsinian, another much friendlier member of the Extant Sortilegium. The festivities provide some much-needed decompression for the students, at least for a little while. Shandi in particular has a rough time dodging members of Resk's retinue around every corner to avoid confrontation. To make matters worse, the student's introduction is interrupted by the arrival of Samaranth the Dreamer, an ancient and storied gold dragon. He chastises the students for leaving unfinished business in Wilter's watch and undermines their future as heroes altogether before flying away. What do you mean we have to go back to the Crystal Caves again in episode 20? I'm getting sick of that place. And so are the students, but like Samaranth said, they have some unfinished business. Averth, their new friend from the Sortilegium, teleports them into the thick of Wilter's watch, which has been veritably overrun by crystal. Our heroes fight their way back into the caves to destroy the crystal creature factory that spawned around the entrance to Trinity 2. That's not all they have to do, however. There's one last loose end to dispose of: the ghost dog that appeared when the parish was killed. Tether alone marches into Trinity 2 to do what needs to be done. As guilty as she feels, her actions saved countless lives and rendered the crystal creatures inactive once more. The gang regroups in what's left of Wilter's watch and is approached by a very familiar gold dragon, Samaranth, with a newfound respect for them now that they've taken care of the crystal scourge. He offers them a ride back to the estate on his back. And hey, they'd be fools to refuse. And that is it for episodes 16 through 20 of Bright Futures. You are now caught up, and you can jump in episode 21 if you'd like, or you can keep watching recaps. Up to you. If you want to watch the episodes in their entirety, they're on this here YouTube channel, this one that you're on right now. And if you want to catch us live, we stream most Sundays at 6 p.m. EST on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/dungeonparty. Yeah. But until next time, I've been me, and you've been you. Goodbye now.